Our new book, Ashley Men Will Make You Fat, is available now for pre-order. Check out BurbNBougieShop.com. And now for your next very informative and or wonderful video. There are a few things that I want to talk about in this video. There might be a part 2 because I got a lot to say. The Supreme Court strikes down Biden's student loan debt forgiveness program. So we all know that he ran on student loan forgiveness, and whatever Democrats want to do, Republicans just say no. And so a conservative-leaning Supreme Court said, we're not going for that. The Supreme Court on Friday struck down the Biden administration program to forgive student loan debt for more than 43 million American borrowers. John Roberts said that the Department of Education exceeded its authority when it moved to wipe out more than $400 billion in federal student loan debt. The program, which invoked emergency powers because of the economic hardship brought on by the pandemic, would have canceled $10,000 in student loan debt for all borrowers who made less than $125,000 and up to $20,000 for borrowers who also received a Pell Grant. Republicans basically said this is an overreach. Okay. Bet. Keep in mind, we're in a country whose birth rate is consistently going down. People are saying that it is too expensive to live. Cost of going to school is too high. Childcare is abysmal. And so this was a way to help out the people who are young enough to still work and have kids or whatnot. So obviously, the Republicans and conservatives are saying, we don't care that it's too expensive. You don't deserve any relief. There was a news report that I was talking about from Fox News where this man, Chuck DeVore, this was the title, the American birth rate is plummeting, but not in some states. Now, here are some of the reasons why people said that they weren't having babies. The inability to afford a house while repaying student loans. So this is in there. These conservatives see the issue. They can touch it. They see it. They are hearing people say it. But what do? They don't listen. This man, Chuck DeVore, in his analysis, basically, you see the red, he blamed the low birth rate on Joe Biden. He said that the states that voted for Joe Biden had the largest share of the birth rate decline. And so they were there. He was there. He saw the causes. He put it in the article, but then it goes back to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is one that was actually trying to alleviate some of the financial pressures of what the people under 40 who could still have kids or who still might want to have kids could face. But no, instead of helping alleviate some of the financial pressures, they double down. They say no. Now I want to talk about the graying of America. We're getting older because people are not having kids. And that's going to be in my part 2. Now I want to talk about the graying of America, or the America is actually getting older. So this is titled, With Population of Asian Americans Growing, the U.S. median age jumps to nearly 39. What does this mean? What does this have to do with anything? The share of residents 65 and older grew by more than a third from 2010 to 2020 at the fastest rate of any decade in 130 years, while the share of children declined according to new figures from the most recent census. The declining percentage of children under 5 was particularly noteworthy in the figures from 2020 headcount released Thursday. Combined, the trends mean that the median age in the U.S. jumped from 37.2 to 38.8 over the decade. The America's 2 largest groups propelled the changes: more baby boomers turning 65 or older, and the millennials who became adults. And I read somewhere that there are more than 10,000 people turning 65 each day. The decline comes from women delaying having babies until later in life. Once again, if you look at the middle of this, in the short run, the crisis of work-family balance, the lack of affordable childcare, the stresses associated with healthcare, housing, and employment stability all put a damper on birth rates by increasing uncertainty and making it harder to decide to have and raise children. I will also put student loan debt, because the debt is ridiculous, and women are saying that they are not having kids because of student loan debt and how it hampers doing other things in life like getting a house. and affordable housing is up there. Now I want to go to NBC News. They also released an article June 4th. A graying America sets major challenges for the nation's future. In 2021, about 17% of Americans were in the 65 plus group. That was up almost 4 points from 2010. And then the under 18 population fell by 2 points, roughly 22%, compared to 24% in 2010. So this graphic is talking about the ages of the various groups. More than 1 in 5 white non-Hispanic people living in the U.S. are older than 65. That's a remarkable number. It's grown by more than 5 points since 2010. It's head and shoulders above the figures for the other major racial and ethnic groups in the country, and a major sign of the changing nature of the U.S. population. And then to come back to the fact that the Supreme Court says, no, we're not going to help, we're not going to alleviate anything. What that says to me is that they do not care that people aren't having babies, even though people are saying it's too expensive across the board to have any kids. So I see the decline continuing. Y'all jump in and okay, so for anybody that is keeping track, the Supreme Court and Republicans have worked diligently to overturn Roe v. Wade. They worked diligently to overturn affirmative action. They are hammering away at consent laws. They are also going to be targeting no-fault divorces. They have been running the teachers out of the schools. They're running nurses and doctors out of the profession in certain states by, demonizing these people. They've been demonizing education with the anti-CRT situation. They're hammering away at education. It's all coalescing into something very nefarious. And if people are not paying attention to what these politicians are legislating, they are legislating to continue to strip away our rights. They want people very poor and indebted to have to continue to go to school. They do not want an educated populace, because an educated populace would revolt if they had some sense. And they just want people to mindlessly push out babies. So that is where we are in this country. And that is the game plan that the Republicans have been pushing. And so when people jump in the comments talking about it's both sides, the Republicans and conservatives are attempting to roll back all of the gains from the women's movements, from the civil rights movements, from the gay movements. They are attempting to roll back all of the gains for everybody. And they are succeeding because we have this narrative that thinks that it's equal on both sides when it's not. The Republicans and conservatives are like chipping away at everything, and they're going to put us in a constant state of women being subservient, poor people, being indebted, and we're seeing it. So I don't understand why so many people keep voting for these people. I don't understand. It's right here. You can see it clearly if your eyes are open. Anyways, go ahead, jump in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, share.